My name is Emily. I'm 27 years old, and I live in Houston, Texas. What I'm about to share happened when I was 21, and it changed my life forever. I grew up as an only child. My dad left when I was very little, so it was just me and my mom, Karen. She worked tirelessly as a cashier at a local supermarket, picking up double shifts almost every day just to keep us afloat. We didn't have much, but she gave me all the love in the world. During my last year of college, I started noticing something different about her. She looked thinner, paler, and she coughed constantly. Many nights I would wake up to the sound of her struggling to breathe or vomiting in the bathroom. Once, I even found a tissue with dried blood hidden under her pillow. I took her to a community hospital. The doctor prescribed expensive medication and told her to rest, but she refused to stop working. She said if she didn't keep her job, we wouldn't be able to pay rent or afford her treatment. I had a part-time job at a campus coffee shop, but my paycheck barely covered anything. I tried babysitting, doing odd jobs, even writing assignments for classmates, but it wasn't enough. Every time I saw my mom curled up in bed, trembling from the pain, I felt like I was failing her. One night, after another episode where she could hardly breathe, a paramedic told me something that broke me inside. "Your mom needs constant treatment," he said. "If not, she won't make it." That night I cried myself to sleep on the floor of her bedroom. I felt trapped. A few days later at the coffee shop, I overheard two girls talking. One of them was complaining about money. The other laughed and said she made more in one night working as an escort at a nightclub than she would in a whole month at any regular job. That conversation stuck in my head. For weeks I tried to ignore the idea, but my mom kept getting worse. And one night, with my heart pounding in my chest, I decided to do it. I convinced myself it would only be temporary, just until I had enough to cover her medicine. I won't go into details. I'll just say that first night felt empty. I told my mom that some college friends were helping me with money. She smiled weakly, but her eyes looked sad, almost like she knew I was lying. The nights went by. I kept working in a world I hated. One night, a car pulled up beside me. The driver looked to be in his early 30s, with a rough beard and tired eyes. He offered me a huge amount of money, just to talk. I hesitated, then got in. He drove us to an empty parking lot next to an old church. He turned off the engine, and then he started crying. Deep, desperate sobs. "I can't do this anymore," he whispered. "I made a deal. I thought it was a joke, but now he won't leave me alone." At first I thought he was high, but his words froze me. I wanted money, power, and I got everything I asked for. But since then, I see him everywhere. In my bedroom, in the mirror, in the hallways at work. He just smiles, always waiting, his eyes fixed on the corner of the parking lot. "He's right there. Don't you see him?" I turned my head. Nothing. Darkness. But then, a chill ran down my spine. Slowly I looked at the back seat, and there it was. A tall, thin figure, completely black. Its arms were too long, its hands like claws, and in the shadows, a wide, glowing, white smile. I screamed, threw the door open, and ran. I never looked back. For weeks that image haunted me. But I still had to keep going out. My mom needed the money. One night, walking home after work, I saw a man standing under a streetlight. He was tall, wearing an old hat, and clothes that looked too big for him. "Good evening," he said. with a raspy, dragging voice. I didn't answer. I crossed the street. Seconds later, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around. He was there, dragging one foot, smiling. "I can help your mother," he whispered. I froze. How could he know? "Just give me what I ask, and she will be healed." His voice was mocking, almost childlike. I panicked and ran. He followed, his footsteps uneven, scraping against the pavement. His laugh was mixed with groans, and in my head, I heard him. "She's going to die, unless you say yes." I made it home and locked myself inside, shaking. That night, I didn't sleep. Days later, my mom said something that made my blood turn cold. "Thank you for helping me take a bath this morning." "You were so quiet." I froze. I hadn't been home. I had been at class all morning. But when I checked the bathroom, the towel was damp. Someone, or something, had been here, pretending to be me. From that moment on, I began hearing footsteps in the hallway at night. Sometimes I saw a tall, dark figure standing by my mother's door. Once, I saw him clearly, leaning into her room. One night, I woke up to a noise. When I opened my eyes, he was standing next to my mother's bed. His long fingers reached toward her, his white smile glowing in the dark. I screamed and threw myself onto the bed, hugging her. I shouted at him to leave. My mom woke up crying, clinging to me. And I knew then, that thing wasn't just haunting us. It was making her sick. Weeks later, she was hospitalized. She could barely breathe without help. I stopped working, stopped going to class. I spent every night in the waiting room, staring down the long hospital hallways. One night, at the far end of the corridor, I saw him, tall, still, wearing the hat, staring at me. I squeezed my eyes shut. When I opened them, it was the doctor, and then he said the words I had been dreading. "I'm sorry. Your mother just passed away." That moment shattered me. I cried until my body gave out. I never saw the figure again. But sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I hear footsteps. I see a shadow in the corner. I remember his smile, his voice, and I wonder, what if I had accepted his deal? Would my mother still be here? Or would I be the one paying the price?